Good morning and welcome to a new vlog. So I think I didn't vlog for a year, even more. I think the last vlog I did was before I gave birth to Leah. So that's 1.5 years ago. But I guess I just also needed that space and time, to arrive in motherhood, to focus on other projects, work, household, family, baby, like everything. But now I found some time and was like, okay, did I ever share, you have to check 1 second, I did a delicious matcha and this one actually looks really good. I must say I'm not really good in doing the matcha. I'm improving slowly, but I'm still not a pro. Anyways, I was just like, did I ever share my birth story here? No, I didn't. And I was like, okay, is this something I want to share? Because it's obviously super personal. And then I was talking to another girl a couple of months ago. I met her in London on a beautiful event and she asked me a little bit about motherhood, how is everything going, how's the baby, how did it change me as a person, how was my birth story. So I started talking a little bit about my birth story, and after telling the whole story, she was so surprised that you can actually have such a beautiful, spontaneous experience without putting any pressure on yourself, without without all the things that happens around you before giving birth. It's like, I remember still, people would ask me, what is your plan? I was like, my plan is to get the baby out. That's my plan. Okay, do you have a support system behind you? I'm like, okay, what do you mean? Do you mean if I have a person that guides me through birth? No, I don't. Oh my God, you don't have that. I think you need a nurse that helps you during the process, that even helps you before. And don't get me wrong, this might help, this might help here and there. And I know, for example, that in Germany, in Hamburg, where I'm from, I know many mothers, many friends that have babies, and they did have a nurse that guided them through the whole process. And it helped most of them so much. Here in Italy, it looks a little bit different. It's not the classic way that you pay someone through your whole pregnancy or through the later part of your pregnancy, and that person is checking on you, helping you to prepare your body and your mental, your mind, about birth, about postpartum, stuff like that. It doesn't really exist here. I mean, you can do it, but it's really, really difficult to find somebody. It costs a lot, much more than in Germany. In Germany, it depends a little bit about your insurance and stuff, but I think even there are some options that you don't even have to pay anything. So this, we don't have that here, but the hospital system here in Italy is really, really good. So I felt really comfortable relying on the support I will get in the hospital once I go to the hospital to deliver the baby. And also what helped me was that all my checks, my checkups and my scans, I did already in the hospital before. So my gynecologist, she is there in the hospital. So all my visits I had already there. So I was familiar with the place. I knew exactly where I had to go, when it starts. So this also helped me. And this gave me a feeling of okay, I'm safe here. I have the gynecologist that works in the hospital, that maybe if I have the chance, I will even see her during birth process, and yeah, then I remember my last scan I did, I was like, okay, soon we're coming closer to the due date. And she was looking at me I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, your due date, I am on vacation. So I gave birth in the end of July, and that's the period here where everybody starts going away, going to vacation and going to the seaside. I was like, oh no. So she wasn't in the hospital working when I gave birth. This, yeah, it didn't stress me out. I was just like, oh, that's a pity. I would have loved having her there, but you know, it's okay. And yeah, so now I talked about 5 minutes just, you know, about birth and stuff and random things without really a plan, but now I just want to keep you guys with me through the whole story. So I got pregnant in 2023. That sounds already like a long time ago.
And my due date was 26th of July 2024.
So you can find that channel, because me personally, it helped me so much, and it was so interesting because I learned just so much about the female body, about the whole birth process, how to mentally get ready and also physically get ready, doing the right exercises. I don't know, I just learned so much, and this made me feel like relaxed. This really made me feel like, okay, I think I'm prepared. I think I'm ready. So I remember still, it was the 26th, so was my due date. It was the day of my due date. And I started feeling a bit of a belly pain, but still super, super soft. Nothing too hard, nothing that made me really feel uncomfortable. And I remember still that we had a dinner at Marco's mom's place in the evening. So we went there, we had dinner. But here and there, I felt like it was a pain, but more like a pressure kind of pain, if that makes sense. And it's also hard because in that moment, you're like, okay, is this a contraction or it's not? Like, you experienced this for the very first time, so it's still hard to tell if this is really something serious or it's not. And I had felt nothing the days before. Sorry, I have to drink a sip of my matcha, otherwise it gets really, really cold. I don't know if you can hear that sound. It's like, it's my washing machine that just finished and does me now the sound of like, I'm done. Yeah, so what did I say? Okay, 26. Yeah, exactly. So in the evening, we went to Marco's mom's place and I felt this kind of pressure. I was like, okay, this feels a bit strange. Like, I didn't feel this before. This is new. And then I remember still that like Marco got like super, super excited, but also a bit scared at the same time. He was like, okay, should we go to the hospital? I was like, no, we don't have to go to the hospital now. Like, it's all good. I just start feeling something, which is a good sign because this means like, okay, we're getting there. And at that point in pregnancy, trust me, every woman is like, I want to get this baby out. Like, I want things getting started. So yeah, so then we came back home, we brushed our teeth, got ready for bed, went to bed. And during the night, I really started feeling more pain, more frequently, but it was like every 10 to 15 minutes that I felt light contractions, but it already was so hard that I couldn't really fall asleep. So I was awake the whole night, obviously super tired in the morning, checked on my phone the timings of the contractions, but they would always be the same. It was always like 10 minutes, 11 minutes, 12 minutes. So nothing too serious, nothing to go to the hospital with. So nothing. I remember still that my gynecologist, he said, okay, listen, if you have really like pain and it really hurts, but it's always like 10 minutes, 11 minutes, so nothing too serious. What can help is taking a warm shower, try to distract you a little bit with, I don't know, going for a walk. And I did so many damn long walks, I remember. I was so annoying. I was like, okay, another fucking walk, sorry. But everybody just told me, yeah, walk, it's the best. You will see after walking a lot, the baby will come. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to walk anymore. So we went for another walk, and it was, you have to imagine, we're living here in Italy in a part that gets really, really hot in summer. So it was the 26th of July. It was hot. I was walking in the heat, and I was working in the morning and in the evening. It was not that I went outside at the 1 p.m. Walk, you know. I went in the morning where it was still it was freaking hot. And this summer, like 2024, was a crazy hot summer. Like this year was much better. Last year was really, really hot. So I went for another walk. I was really, really, getting tired of it, but also like getting very excited in the same time, because I'm like, okay, I'm having contractions. Like this is a sign, you know, I'm getting there. So that was the 27th, and it was the whole day like this. It was every 10 minutes I had a contraction, and the contractions would get strong. Like I was basically, I was leaning on a wall like this. Oh, like this. Oh, I remember still like it was yesterday. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. And by the way, I was not even in my home, because our home, it was a whole construction. It was not ready yet. So we lived at Marco's dad's place. Kisses to him, because thank God he offered us staying at his place. It was amazing. And so we stayed with him at his place. And he wasn't always home because of his work. So he would like travel, going back and forth, but also, of course, spending time at home. So on that day, he was free and he stayed the whole weekend with us. And then also when Marco told him like, okay, I think, you know, the baby's coming, you know, he wanted to support, he wanted to be there, which is totally understandable. And he was there, you know, so we were all together in this house, and like every 10 minutes I was like, oh, hanging there on the wall. And now I'm laughing, but it was not easy back then. And then at a certain point, it was, I got the contractions every 7 minutes. So I was like, okay, it's getting serious. Like I feel that my body is ready to deliver, and it felt real. Like I was like, okay, I think we can go to the hospital. So we went to the hospital. Thank God the hospital is like 5 minutes away from us. So we took the car. It was like 3 minutes. And I arrived there. They were like, okay, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm okay, but it's getting serious. Like, it's really, really painful now. And, you know, all that stuff. And they were like, is it your first baby? And I'm like, yes, my first baby. And they're like, okay. Go home. I'm like, what do you mean go home? I'm here to deliver the baby. I think it's time. And they were like, it's not. Go home. And you come back when the contractions are like very frequent, every 3 minutes. Like 3 minutes, oh my God. So I was like, no, I really want to stay. I want to stay. They looked at me, yeah, we know, but you can't. It's even more comfortable for you to go back home, be in your space. You have your snacks, you know, you make it comfy. I'm like, I'm not comfy anymore. I won't be comfy at home. I want to stay here. I want to get this baby out. I really started stressing a bit. I was like, I want to stay. And they were like, no, it's better for you to go home. So I was like, oh, I was really, really getting nervous, and I wasn't happy at all about these news. They also checked in this area like how things look, and they were like, you're open for 1 centimeter. To make you understand, you have to be 10 centimeters open to get the baby out. I was 1 centimeter open, so it's nothing. So I was like, how is it possible? Because it's already really painful. Like I was like, no, I'm sure I'm delivering in half of an hour. It wasn't that case. So we went back home, and it was horrible. I remember it was a Saturday, and it was a horrible Saturday because I was at home super uncomfortable. So long story short, the whole day contractions every 6 minutes. So then the night was a total disaster. The second night in a row that I didn't sleep, and I was like, okay, I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. The baby is not even here. How will I be able to survive postpartum? Like not sleeping at all for another, I don't know, 1 week, 2 weeks, I don't know. So I was really, really, really upset, and also concerned about this whole situation, you know, because I know my body, I know myself, and I was like, okay, I'm really exhausted. And now I say this a lot, but back then when I didn't have kids, I would never say that. So the night from Saturday to Sunday was a total disaster. I let Marco sleep in the bed because I was like crawling every 2 minutes in a weird position and like having contractions every 5 minutes or even less, 4 minutes. And then in the morning, it was still like every 4 minutes. And I said, okay, let's go to the hospital. And they told Marco in the hospital, they said, don't bring her here when she's not having every 3 minutes her contractions. If it's more than 3 minutes and you can feel that she's still handling the situation pretty good, don't come. So that was the rule that they gave Marco. So I was at home managing the pain, but being in pain and having the contractions every 4 minutes. So then, more like to the afternoon, it was every 3 minutes, and I started screaming every time I had a contraction. So it was really screaming. And Marco was like, now we go in the hospital, you're ready. And I'm like, okay. And I was really starting to feel like, I think if we're not going now, I think I'm gonna get this baby here. And, so Marco's dad was already like, okay, go to the car. And Mia was like, literally, now I will show you so you can, also if you're like, you walk like this. Like it was no joke. It was like this and took me probably like 15 minutes to go down in the garage to go into the car. Like it was a workout. It was a workout. So anyways, then we arrived at the hospital. I had another contraction before entering the hospital. I remember that they wanted to get the emergency bed to bring me there because people would stop me and say, oh my God, let's call somebody that helps you. And Marco was like, no, we're handling it. So I was really, really having super strong contractions, and it's really true when they tell you, when it's time, like you feel it. And I felt it. I was like, okay, this is no joke. Nothing comparable with what I felt the day before. It was really, really, I was just ready to get this baby out. I really felt it. So we arrived there. They were like, smiling a bit, like, that's the one from yesterday. And they were like, yeah, I think now we're there, So then now that was shocking. I went on this chair. I don't know how you call this chair in English, but you know what I mean. So they checked how much I was open. 1.5 centimeter. I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, no, 1.5 centimeter. I was like, okay, but this is serious. And then I remember that there came another contraction. I was like, this is serious. Oh! And like having another contraction, I was literally like this. I was like crawling all together, like being in so much pain. And I had contractions then for over 48 hours, but strong ones. So I was like, I can't anymore. If now you tell me that we're not, we're not ready yet, I don't know how long I can keep going like this. I really can't, I can't anymore. I was really, really upset. I was like, I was also in the beginning so motivated and everything, but after 48 hours, I was like, okay, what are the other options? I don't know. And my dream was from the beginning to have a natural birth. That was my dream. Not my plan, but my dream, because I didn't really stick to a plan. My plan was just going with the flow. So nothing. I was not open enough yet to like start the whole process, but they kept me in the hospital and kept me monitored. So they would check on the baby, on the baby's heart. Everything looked perfect. Everything looked good. Everything looked normal. She was also in the perfect position, head down. Like she was also ready to go. And what happened then? They gave me some food. I was like, I don't want to eat now. And they were like, a drink. I was like, I don't want to drink. I didn't want nothing. I was just like, I want to start. I don't want to eat now. I don't want to drink. It was a bit like, they were like, yeah, but it's hot. Like you need to stay hydrated. But I was really not in the mood of drinking and eating, I remember. And then the contractions at some point were so strong that they asked me if I want to go in the water. And this, guys, was the game changer. I was like, water? I don't know. Yeah, okay. At this point, I was ready to do anything that might help. So I went in this beautiful, it was like a whirlpool. It was a beautiful room, by the way. It was like they set a beautiful light. There was some nice relaxing music, and there was this whirlpool. And I was like, oh yeah. I went inside, and the moment I went inside, my muscles, for the first time after 48 hours, they just relaxed for a second, and I felt so good. Only thing is, the doctor checked on me, and she was like, okay, she seems really, really relaxed now. This is good on the one side, but on the other side, it's a bit risky because it might happen that the contractions stop completely, because the body gets in this mood of really relaxing 100%, and then the process doesn't keep going, you know. So it was a bit of a risk, but they said, let's try for like 10 minutes, and if we see that the contractions get less, we have to stop and you have to come out. So I was like, okay, hopefully, you know, it keeps going. And it did. So I still had my contractions really strong, exactly like before. So they were like, okay, you can stay in the water. And I was in this water, I think, for another 2 hours. They checked on me. I was open for like 5 centimeters. So that was already a huge process. And I was like, oh, okay, yes, that's great. That's amazing. So I was, you know, feeling really okay. We're getting there. And after 2 hours, my water broke in the water. So I was really, really, really happy back then when the water broke, because also this was one thing, like everybody asked me, yeah, did your water break? I was like, no. So I was also a bit like, okay, but at some point my water has to break, otherwise baby doesn't come. So my water broke, and then everything went pretty quick, I would say. It was already the 29th, because I went in the hospital on Sunday, and it was Sunday evening, Sunday night, and then it was like almost 1 a.m. on Monday. So I was already at 29th back then. So water broke, everything went fast. I remember, like, Marco was behind me, supporting me. I remember he was a really, really good supporter, and there was just one thing that he said that upset me. And you're so sensitive during the birth process, so your husband can be the best husband in the world, but then he says something that you just don't want to hear and you freak out. So I remember that Marco said, like, yeah, but your breathing should be more like this. And then he like showed me how I should breathe. I was just looking at him, was like, can you please not tell me now how to breathe? I know exactly how I have to breathe, and I breathe exactly like this. And he was like, no, you have to do more like this. I said, no, I'm doing it like this. And he was like, okay, no, you're doing amazing. I was really freaking out when he said to me, like, after I had contractions for like 3 days, and after 3 days he comes to me, I think you have to breathe a bit more. I was like, oh my God. So that was the only moment where I was just like looking at him like, can you please fuck the shut up? Like, I didn't say that, or maybe I said that, I don't know. But yeah, that was the only moment where he upset me a bit, but the rest, he was really the best support, and he was really, really good. So yeah, he was behind me, and then there was also crazy. All of a sudden, because all the contractions that I had before, I was like breathing them out, you know, or breathing through them as you're on a wave and you go down the wave, like with a surfboard, you know. I was a bit this, but I really felt that, yeah. So all of a sudden there came another contractions, and I was pushing, and they were like, stop, you cannot push. I was like, why I cannot push? My body is telling me to push. I have to push. And they were like, no, you can even harm the baby if you push now, because your body is not ready yet to push. And I was like, but I cannot even control it. It's like my body, it's doing it on its own. I cannot even tell my body not to push. It's like a natural thing. And they were like a bit concerned. They were like, okay, can you just try a little bit to not push? And I was like, no. So with the next contractions, I pushed again, but with it was really like, my body did it, not my mind, my body, and pushed as hard as it could. And I was and they were like, no, don't push. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a disaster. And then all of a sudden she was like checking. I was like, I can see the head. Keep pushing, keep pushing. I was like, are they crazy? Like, they tell me not to push, and then the second after they tell me to push. That was the only time where I was a bit like, huh? Okay, but then I kept pushing, and I think I pushed 2-3 times, and she was out. That was really, really amazing. That was really amazing. So the pushing part also then after the whole, process, and after a month, people would ask me, yeah, but was it really hard to push? I was like, no, the pushing part, guys, is not hard. Yes, I mean, yeah, you push, but it's something so natural, and your body does it even on its own. Like, you don't even have to do anything. It's just like you flow. And that was not hard at all. The hardest part was, the horrible, strong contractions for so many days. That was really, really tough. And then also afterwards, I was just so proud. First of all, of course, to have my healthy baby in my arms, but then also that I managed this whole process without any medication. I didn't take anything, not even an ibuprofen. I don't know. It's like, I feel incredibly powerful and incredibly grateful also that I had the chance to have this supernatural experience. And yes, if you ask me if it was hard, it was hard, but in a beautiful way that I would definitely now say, I want to do this again at one point in my life. Like, this is the most natural, but also the most incredible thing that a woman can do, to me. And then people also ask me, why did you want to have a natural birth? And I always said the same thing. I wanted to know what my body is capable of. I wanted to feel everything. I wanted to see everything, to be really there in that moment that you have maybe just once in your life, if you have the chance. So I really wanted to be so present and really feel everything, and knowing afterwards what my body is able to do, So that's my story. And then she was there, and she was healthy. She immediately started sucking, like, without any problem. So our breastfeeding journey started right away, and it was amazing. I had a few days where it was a bit rough, because obviously your nipples, they're so sensitive in the beginning, and they have also to get used to somebody sucking all the time. So it was a bit painful for a few days, and it was even like bleeding for a few days, because she was like really sucking very strongly, very hard, and she was amazing. She had zero struggles to suck, because the doctor also told me that there are so many babies, they struggle in the beginning. They don't know how, they're like having the nipple here, and they don't know how to do it. But Leia had zero problems with that. She immediately understood the game. But yeah, that was just, a bit painful in the beginning. But then afterwards, and also the right technique, how you dock your baby on, like, this helped me so much. And then afterwards it was really easy going. But yeah, that was my birth story. I hope you liked it. Now you know. And at a certain point, I think every woman will feel like, okay, should I maybe take the epidural? But I was like, do I really want to take that? I don't. Yes, it's painful. Yes, maybe it will help me, like, managing the pain better. But it wasn't a pain that I said, I cannot handle it. I can handle it. I think every woman can handle it. Then there are other complications that might come. And then, of course, the priority number one is keeping baby and mother safe. This is on the list here. So that was also my priority, and I was like, okay, if something happens, the baby's in danger, I will not insist and say, no, I want to have a natural birth. Of course not. But I said from the beginning, if I have the chance, everything looks great, I want to do it. And this is just my way that I like to do it. And that's it. Yeah, guys, now I talked for half an hour about my birth story, and I hope you liked it. And I hope that the next time I will vlog, I will do a little bit of a mix of motherhood, baby, maybe also sharing a few things, how to entertain a 16-month-old. I like to watch these kind of things because sometimes, especially with this weather at the moment, I'm like, okay, what can I do with her today? I know she's having the best time in kindergarten, but just for a few hours a day. So then the whole afternoon we will spend together. And sometimes it's not easy to find like the right entertainment program. So I will maybe vlog a little bit about that and show you guys what we eat, what Leah eats. Also this I like to watch. I don't know if you guys do. And yeah, but for now I just finished a few household things and then I have to pick up from kindergarten. And we have a beautiful afternoon. Mwah. See you soon.